What are the strongest militaries in Africa?
There are a number of strongest militaries in Africa, but I can select for you only 10 strongest militaries around Africa.
Number 10.
Wait, before we go to number 10, this to let you know that this analysis is based on budget, number of active troops, military equipment, military readiness, and geopolitical influence.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Tanzania. Tanzania has a defense budget of $600 million with 30,000 active troops and 50,000 reserve troops. They also have access to modern military equipment, including 42 tanks, 1,424 armored vehicles, among others. The country has been involved on several peacekeeping missions, including Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, with a power index score of 2.0387, making Tanzania the 10th strongest military in Africa.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Kenya. Kenya has a defense budget of $800 million with 24,000 active troops and 5,000 reserve troops. They also have modern military weapons like 76 Vickers Mark III tanks, 76 armored reconnaissance vehicles, 62 armored personnel carriers, 105 and 155 millimeter guns, mortars, anti-tank guided weapons. They also have attack helicopters, jet fighters, well-trained army and navies, among others. They have been involved in several peacekeeping missions, including in Yugoslavia, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Sudan, among others, with a power index score of 1.7701, making Kenya the 9th strongest military in Africa.
Number 8.
Wait, before we go to number 8, this to let you know that this information is powered by the Forest Resort Rweza Entebbe, Uganda. That place is so marvelous. That place has a good scenic area to enjoy. If you have any party or event, just check out the place.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Sudan. Sudan has a defense budget of $2.2 billion with 109,000 active troops and 150,000 reserve troops. They have access to modern weapons like artillery and tanks, recoilless guns from former Soviet Union and China, PMB box mine from Russia, anti-personnel and anti-tank mines from China and Iran, rifles, machine guns, anti-aircraft guns, among others. The country has been involved in several conflicts, including the division of Sudan into South Sudan conflict, the Darfur conflict, and the internal conflict in Khartoum, with a power index score of 1.4079, making Sudan the 8th strongest military in Africa.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Morocco. Morocco has a defense budget of $3.4 billion with 200,000 active troops and 150,000 reserve troops. They have access to modern military weapons like the anti-tank guided missiles, tank destroyers, mortars, armored fighting vehicles, automatic grenade launchers, automatic cannons, attack helicopters, jet fighters, among others. The country has been involved in several conflicts, including the Western Sahara conflict, with a power index score of 1.0524, making Morocco the 7th strongest military in Africa.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Angola. Angola has a defense budget of $3.5 million with 107,000 active troops and 500,000 reserve troops. They have modern weapons like anti-tank defense systems, tank destroyers, rocket launchers, jet fighters, among others. The country has been involved in several conflicts, including the Angolan Civil War and the current conflict in Democratic Republic of Congo, with a power index score of 0.8732, making Angola the 6th strongest military in Africa.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Ethiopia. Ethiopia has a defense budget of $400 million with 180,000 active troops with 150,000 reserve troops. They have modern weapons like the anti-tank defense systems, fighting aircrafts, air defense systems, among others. The country has been involved in several conflicts, including the Ethiopian Civil War, the conflict in Somalia, among others, with a power index score of 0.7979, making Ethiopia the 5th strongest military in Africa.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Nigeria. Nigeria has a defense budget of $2.4 billion. They have 120,000 active troops and 80,000 reserve troops. They have modern military weapons like the AK-47 replica made in Nigeria called the OBJ-006. They also have a submachine gun made in Nigeria called the PM-125. They have rocket grenade launchers, among very many weapons weapons that Nigerian army has. They have been involved in several conflicts, including the Boko Haram conflict in Nigeria, with a power index score of 0.5587, making Nigeria the fourth strongest military in Africa.
Number 3.
Number 3 is South Africa. South Africa has a defense budget of $4.3 billion with 78,000 active troops and 17,000 reserve troops. They have access to modern military weapons like the submarines, attack helicopters, jet fighters, anti-tank weapons, anti-sniper rifles, anti-aircraft weapons, tank destroyers, and many others. The country has been involved in several conflicts, including the Sudan conflict, Democratic Republic of Congo, with a power index of 0.4885, making South Africa the third strongest military in Africa.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Algeria. Algeria has a defense budget of $10 billion with 130 active troops and 150 reserve troops. They have modern military weapons like the fighter jets, T-90 tanks, Iskander ballistic missiles, BMPTP Terminator, BMPTP-62, attack helicopters, tank destroyers, among others. They have been involved in several conflicts, including the Algeria Civil War and the current conflict in Mali, with a power index score of 0.3199, making Algeria the second strongest military in Africa.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Egypt. Egypt has a defense budget of $4.4 billion with 450,000 active troops and 800,000 reserve troops. They have modern military weapons like artillery and missile systems, amphibious military engineering vehicles, armored fighting vehicles, anti-tank destroyers, air defense systems, mortars, submarines, and others. The country has been involved in several conflicts, including the Gulf War, war in Yemen, with a power index score of 0.2224, making Egypt the strongest military in Africa.